Hello my crafty friends and welcome back to my channel. On my last Make With Me video, we finished this beauty-mous framed gentleman, and in that video my challenge was to use only Tim Holtz products. So in that video I showed you how I distressed the frame, how I inked everything, how I did everything. So for this video we're going to move to his counterpart. And we're going to look at this beautiful, beautiful lady here. And I've picked out some bits of ephemera here to go with her. And her frame is right here. So what are you going to need for this side of the Make With Me? Well, you're going to need the other mini framed panel again. So when you buy these, they come in a pack of 2. So you need the other side. I've pre-painted mine again with the Deco Art Dazzling Metallics. All the information on the products I use will be down in the box below. For her cardstock is going to be this lovely blue floral. And it is this piece of cardstock is from the collection called Memorandum. It is just a piece out of that. The image, again, is from the Found Relatives. The 2 frames I've made are corresponding. They're going to go together. I have these 2 pieces of ephemera from a collection, from different collections. I've had these so long, I've lost the packaging. It happens when you collect Tim Holtz like I do. And then this is from the Ideaology metal word strips. We did one with the gentleman, and so we're going to do one with her. You're also going to need some sort of adhesive. I'm going to, again, use Art's glitter glue as I did last time. A brayer. We're going to make sure that paper gets nice and flat. A pair of scissors. These are my Tim Holtz minis. You're going to need Distress ink in walnut stain. If you wish to follow along with my colors, you do not have to do so. Also with that, you're going to need some sort of blending tool. This is, I believe, a Ranger. These just Velcro on. You're going to need black Distress Oxide. I'm using this silicone sponge. This will get washed after this so I can continue to use it. You're going to need a cutter. And you're going to need Scor tape. The Scor tape I have chosen to use today is 1/4 of an inch. We will only need this once, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do with this right off the bat. So here if I can catch a hold of it. So here we have the metal plate that I'm going to use this time. It says Embrace Imperfection. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and take this. And we're going to adhere it down. We're going to use these little snips. We're going to cut it. And that's the end of the Scor tape. That's all we needed it for. Now, you notice I didn't put it in over the holes. Well, when you do that, that adhesive is still sticky. So if you get any dust on that, it's going to stick right there. So just cover the back, not the holes. These are actually designed to go over ribbons, but I've decided I don't want to use any ribbons this time. I want to stick to Tim Holtz products. Okay, so let's go ahead and move our lady and all of our pieces out of the way. We're going to set them to one side. We're going to take this beautiful gold frame, and I wanted to distress mine. So actually let me move this piece of paper too, just in case if I accidentally drop it, I'm not destroying this beautiful piece of paper. So let's get this out of the way, and we'll set it over here. And then we are going to grab this frame and the black soot Distress Oxide. We're just going to put it on the frame. And it looks like real harsh right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this silicone sponge and I'm just going to kind of wipe off some of the excess ink. And I'm just going to play with it and see how I want to do it this time. And again, see, I'm wiping it off, but it kind of dulls down that gold. It makes it look dirty and old, which is what I like. I like it to look vintage. My husband doesn't understand it, but that's okay. He's allowed to not understand it. So again, I'm just gonna, as you can see, the sponge is contoured. I just wipe it along. And I even do the outside, because you're gonna see it, because it's a piece, it's going to actually go, I'm going to figure out a way to hang it on my walls. It's probably gonna end up in the craft room, unless my husband really likes them. Then they may end up in the main house. As I said in the last video, I live in a giant old Victorian house. We believe my house was built between 1875 and 1885. So I'm very blessed. I have a lot of original features, which includes my original front door, which is original, obviously, to my house. Unfortunately, we will never know exactly how old our house was. In 1905, our courthouse caught on fire, and all the records of the homes from this period were lost. My husband, when he was remodeling the downstairs bath, did find a newspaper in the wall that had the date of 1905, so we do know that the house was remodeled in 1905, and the original pantry was converted into a bathroom. So, on that note, now that we've inked this, as you can see, it's kind of dulled down that gold, kind of giving it a vintage feel. The gold's kind of flaking off, you know, when you see those beautiful old paintings and picture frames. So this piece of board here is the back, obviously, to the frame. You're going to glue on like that. This, I didn't mention that you need a cutter, because you're going to cut your piece of paper for this. This measures 4.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to look and see where I want it, and I think I want it, do I want it down here with that brown? Maybe up in the corner. Maybe up there. Oh, I bumped it. I apologize. Maybe up there? Or do we want maybe the writing? Choices, choices, choices. I think, actually, let's put it that way. Why not? I like that piece, so why don't we just go ahead and do that? So this board measures 4.5 by 6.5. You're going to bring out your cutter. And I'm going to move this piece of paper, and I'm going to measure out. I'm going to move the frame first of all, and I am going to slide this piece of paper in here, and I'm going to measure out at 4.5, which is right here on my cutter. I know you probably can't see that. Oh, actually, you might be able to. So I'm going to cut out that 4.5, and I want to make sure that paper is good and lined up. Good and even. Alright. So then I'm just going to make my cut. And you're going to have a large piece left over. You're going to set that aside. I'm sorry I bumped it again. Let me readjust. And we're going to go ahead and lay that at the 6.5. So there's your piece of paper. We're going to go ahead and cut that. And then you're left with a 4.5 by 5.5. So after that, you don't need your cutter anymore for this project. So we're going to pull it out of the way, and we're going to set it aside. And then we're going to line our paper up, make sure it covers, and by golly it does. So what I did on the last one and what I will do on this one is I'm going to ink the edges, and your frame comes in quite a bit, so you want to kind of ink inside the frame, if that makes any sense. So you want to make sure that you can see where your ink is. And again, I'm going to use these circular motions so that my paper doesn't look, sometimes when you use these circle daubers, or they kind of, if you stamp real hard, it'll give you a bright circle, and I'm not looking for that. I would rather have more of a distressed edge, so just little circles. I do little circles. It allows you to blend it out, play with it. Again, I don't want, the last one I distressed a little bit darker. This one I'm not going to go as heavy-handed. Again, it's a female portrait, so I am going to kind of take from her, and I'm not going to go as heavy-handed with things. Although, I do like me some distress inks. And I have a problem. I've collected all of them. So I have all of the Distress Ink minis. I don't have the large pads in all of them, just a few. But I do have all of the minis. And I'm working on my Distress Oxides. So, and there we go. That paper looks lovely and distressed. So we're going to, again, make sure that frame is out of your way. And you're going to set your set your board right over here. I'm going to turn this piece of paper over. And now you can use the Scor tape to adhere it. I'm just going to use Arts Glitter Glue because I know I can get it good and adhered with it. So I'm just going to take the Arts Glitter Glue along all of these edges. And see, it's a beautiful double-sided paper, but I wanted to use the one side. The other side felt very primary school, and if I come across more of these frames, I may choose to do a primary school one, like for a young girl. I'm hoping that I'll find some more of these frames somewhere so I can make some more of these. I know I have a person who would absolutely go bonkers for these. He will really like them, so, because he likes Victorian things, and so do I, and we get along very well because of that. And he's a history buff, and so am I. So it's wonderful to have friends like that. He actually runs the steampunk group I'm a part of, so a little bit of interesting information about me. And I'm just going to put my pin back in that. I just do it for, if I knock it over, it won't go everywhere. So now you're going to lay your paper right down on that piece of wood, which is your back. And then I'm just going to slowly manipulate it down, line it up. See, it's not fully adhered. So I have some room to play to make sure that it is fully covered. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. I don't have any overhang. So I'm going to take my brayer, and you're just going to roll over it. Again, it'll get that paper stuck down real well. You want to, if you get a little bit of glue on it, make sure you wipe it off, otherwise it'll drag the glue everywhere. And I just literally just roll it out like you would anything else. You know, it's like kind of a fun rolling pin, and you can hear it crackle. That's spreading the glue out. And I just always rub over it. So now we have the board ready to go. So we're going to grab that front piece, that mirror. And this is how I did it last time. And see, you can see the distress ink, but it's not heavy-handed as it is if you take that off. So we're just going to kind of leave it and let it be a little bit more feminine. So I'm going to take that pin out of that glue again. And you're just going to spread your glue all the way to the edge. Do not use your brayer to adhere to make sure that this sticks. Use your fingers because the brayer will damage the delicate frame. It's not delicate, but it's delicate enough. And you don't want it to have damage if it's going to be an art piece, which this is for me. So we're just going to keep on gluing. And gluing. It takes a while to get these frames fully covered in glue, and then again I think my tip is blocked, so I'm going to take my pin and I'm just going to stick it in there and knock that clump loose, and then it just starts gluing again. So I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. It does, you can use a little bit more pressure. I like the fine point when I'm gluing stuff down. I feel like I can get to the edge easier and there's not glue everywhere. But you don't have to buy Arts Glitter Glue with the fine tip. You can just buy a bottle of it. Alright, so now I'm going to bring this piece back down. And I'm going to gently set that frame back down, making sure that I still have room to manipulate. And then I'm going to press it down. And see, it's still, you can still manipulate it for the first little bit, but this adhesive dries pretty good and dries pretty fast. So there we go. There is our frame as it sits right now. So we're going to set it aside, not too far, but we're going to go ahead and bring in our pieces, which are right here. So what I did last time was I debated on using this side, but I'm afraid that's too modern, and this is a Victorian image. So I think I'm going to go with this side, which kind of mirrors. Actually, let's flip that like that, and then that grungy piece, see how it is down there? Let's bring that better into frame. Oh, that makes the pattern upside down. Well, why don't we just do it like that? So I'm going to take my Distress ink and I am going to ink them edges. I'm going to reach in for some more. Again, doing that rotating motion. You don't have to. It just helps prevent from you just when you go on to the paper having those circles, and I don't like them, so I have learned over time you do little motions. Alright, and I think that's how I want it. So this will glue down flat, and then I'm going to pop her up on dimensionals. And she needs Distress ink, so pardon my reach. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to lightly ink her edges because she is a darker toned photograph. So just to add some dimension to her, I think I'm going to keep this up. Alright, and she's now inked, so you can take this Distress ink and you can set it out of your way again because you're done with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip her over and we're going to use these dimensional dots. So we're just going to stick them onto the back, as you can see I'm doing here. And like I said in my last video, please make sure that you put some in the middle. Otherwise, if something happens, your piece of art will get damaged because you don't have that support of the dimensionals in the middle. I know that you don't see them and they don't affect what you're doing. Well, it does affect what you're doing. Because it'll prevent you from having some pretty serious damage. I had actually my best friend who was my mentor in card making. She showed me a card where she didn't put dimensionals in the middle and the card was ruined, and it was a beautiful card, but she couldn't use it. She couldn't send it to anyone. So we are so she ended up throwing the card away. It was a really nice card too. I felt so bad. But there was no salvaging it. So remember to put some in the middle, because I would hate you get this all done and you're like, oh, look at how, and it's gone. So, and I never get mine straight, and they're never perfect. Just do the best you can. Because sometimes they're, as our little metal piece says here, embrace imperfection. Which, that's kind of a reminder to myself to embrace the imperfect. You are perfectly imperfect. There is no one else like you. Okay, so here we are. And I'm going to stick some dimensionals in the middle. So I'm going to put 3. That's what I did on the last one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to sit here. You're going to start peeling paper, because that's my favorite part. I mean, it's a pain to use these dimensionals. You can use the 3D foam tape too. I just prefer the dimensionals. Sometimes the foam tape is hard to work with, especially if you round your corners on things. I just like the dimensionals because they tend to have rounded corners, so you can just stick them down and go. If the paper will come off. Last one. All right. So we're going to bring this back into our frame. And we are going to try to cover that circle as much as we can. So let me see here. There's just going to be a hair poking out on either side, so. All right, and there she is. And I definitely want to incorporate this flower because I think it's really, really pretty. And I think I'm going to pop that up as well. Yeah, I think I want to pop that up as well. This, I think, just needs glued down. So let's just ink up the edges of it a little bit so it's not as harsh against everything else that's really distressed. All right, there we go. So we're going to glue her down now. We're going to take our glue and just put all of it on the back. You know, put it all over. The nice thing about the fine tip, as I said in the last video, is I can get it real close to that edge without, as I go over the front. Didn't glue over the front, but you can get real close to that edge and it just adheres a lot better, a lot nicer. Let me wipe the tip. Always make sure you clean your tips off. And poke. I gotta poke it back down. As you can see, my poor bottle has seen better days. But when you're using your glue all the time, it's not gonna look pretty. Alright. And then we're gonna lay her down. We're gonna just gently use your fingers. Again, the warmth of your fingers will help things go down. And we're gonna pick up our little rose. And I really think it would look really good in that corner. So I think we're gonna actually adhere it down. Or do I want to dimensional it? Let's pop it up actually. So here is a sheet of the little dimensionals. And I am just gonna stick some on there. And I tend to use the point of my scissors to help me with this. So here, see, I'm using the tip of the scissors to help kind of pick them up because I have false nails. So I tend to use that. Or if you have, let me find it real quick. One of these quick sticks, those are great too because you can take, see it has this really nice end. And I'll just take it and pick things up like that. So I'll just do this. See how I'm doing that? And that'll make it easier for me to get things where I want them. Will you fit in there? Can I force you down? Aha! So I have put dimensionals in there. I'm gonna add these pieces to my pile. If I can peel that piece off. And then we're gonna go ahead and adhere that down. Right there it is in that corner. I really like that. And then this, again, I'm gonna use some ink and kind of dull down that bright. I don't know why I liked this piece with it, but I thought it was neat. Because it kind of goes with the sewing theme that kind of took over. Then you're done with that ink, so you can set that aside, and then you're just going to do the same thing here. You're just going to stick some more of these on, because that's what this project is making sure you use your dimensional dots. And again, when you set it on here, you're going to have to double up on the one side. Maybe I do want to put it on that side. Yeah, I think I do. So whatever side, okay, let me adhere this. So see how this side will be hanging off the photo? You're going to have to double it up because this is already dimensionaled. So in that case, you will, and I'll show you. I cover the bottom first, and then I'll peel the pieces off that I need to peel off, and then double stack the dimensionals. And don't worry, I have more. I always have more. And we're just gonna use this piece here. And I bought the black on accident. You can get these in white if you would prefer white. For me, I don't think it really matters for most of my projects because they're covered, so. See, we're gonna do this right here. We're gonna do this right here. Come on, come off. There we go. And see, I'm gonna go into the middle again because there's gonna be a large gap, and I'm just gonna lay some more in there. Oh, there's a fuzzy on it. Come here, fuzzy. Well, that was good. We're just gonna dump those off that picture. And then I'm gonna keep going with this. I think I just need 2 more. Yep, see, and then you can kind of squish them. They're foam, so they'll squish. So you're really good and covered. So this, how do I want to mark this? What you can do here, because you need to figure out how far this is gonna need to be popped up, you can take a pencil and just gently make a mark. See, you can't even hardly see that pencil mark. I'll bring it up real close. See how I put a pencil mark for how I'm gonna have it on here? So that way I know from those 2 pencil marks on, I need to pop things up. So if I transfer them over on the other side, there, and here, then I can erase the ones on the front as I take that back piece off, and they're gone. Okay. So, from, oh, where'd that pencil mark go? From there, so these in this area here are all right. So it's these that I need to double. So you're just going to peel your paper off. See, now all of these are naked, so you're just going to take your next set of dimensionals and just stick them on top the best you can, because that means they're the double popped up, so they are really raised up. And then we're going to just keep sticking them. That's all you got to do. Just keep sticking. And I think that'll do it for this, actually, almost. I'm hoping I have enough. Because if I have enough, then I don't have to crack into a new sheet. Oh, yep, I definitely have enough. I might have 1 dot left over. So, let me And they'll do this where they'll try to overlap each other, and you just kind of, you can use this tool to kind of press them. It does, as long as you get them just about on the thing, I think it'll be all right. So there we go. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and peel all of these off. Please pardon the shadow. There's a moth in here. I don't know how it got in here, but it's in here. All right. See, I'm just pulling them all off. Putting them in my pile. They'll get swept into the trash can when I'm finished. And let me have this piece. There we go. There we go. The last one. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and scoot that into place and press it. And then our last thing to do, we are gonna peel the tape on the back of this. If we can get it started. There we go. You just peel the backing off of that. And I'm gonna line it. I'm gonna take my quick stick, which is made by We Are Memory Keepers, and there's a pointed end. So I've just changed that flat scooping end out to this pointed end. And then I think that's more level. Yeah, I think that's it. Alright, and then we're gonna, yep, there we go. Alright, if you think this needs something else, let me know, but I'm pretty tickled pink with both of these. So in this two-part series, we made a gentleman and a lady art piece, and they are going to go together somehow. So here's our gentleman again, and there's little bits on him, so we're just gonna kind of shake those off. There we go. So there's our gentleman, and there's our beautiful lady. And I want to thank you for watching the second part of this. Like I said in the first part, as soon as we get to 25 subscribers, we will be having I'm going to do a giveaway. And I will be doing these in a future Make With Me. They are made out of glassine bags. And they're pretty quick and easy to make, but there's a little pocket here. I put pages in mine. I staple them in. Obviously, it's a wedding themed one. This is from one of my friends. I made this for her. And then, obviously, I have put these decorative elements on the front, and that's a Tim Holtz doll and Tim Holtz sticker. So, help me hit that 25 subscribers, and you can be entered to win one of these. So, I hope you have had a wonderful time and enjoyed this series. And I want to thank you for watching. And as always, happy crafting.